Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be doing a holiday refresh of my classic Happy Planner here. I'll be DIYing a bunch of things as well as adding some embellishments, some vellum, just some fun. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. The first thing we're going to do is make a cover. So I have some cardstock here, one that was from a cardstock pack, and then I also have the front here, which I'm going to be giving away as a freebie. So check the description below. I actually have this same cover in 3 different colors, this red that I really love, in green, and a blue version. So hopefully one of those will fit the bill for whatever you choose to celebrate at this time of year. And I'm just trimming them down to size using my guillotine cutter. I decided not to print the cover on the back of the cardstock with the snowflakes because I wanted it to have a little extra thickness, a little extra rigidness when I laminate it. I use 5mm laminating sheets with a simple laminating Scotch machine. It works good. The 5mm is definitely a lot thicker and more rigid than the standard 3mm sheets, but it's still a little bit soft, if you will. It's just not quite as rigid as I'd like it to be. So adding the extra cardstock really helps thicken up the rigidness and make it a little more sturdy as a cover. So I'm just gluing the sheets together now, and once I do that, I've learned that it's best to trim them when they're glued together, just to make sure that there's no backside peeking through when you laminate it. In the past, I haven't done this step and it really, I don't know, it just didn't quite look as good as it could. Doing this extra step, I think, really helps make the cover look a little bit more polished. I think that you could do this step by actually gluing the pages together first and then cutting them on your cutter together. I thought about doing that, but I was just a little worried that things were going to shift, so I decided to do it this way and just do the cleanup instead. So I've just cleaned up all of the excess there, and I'm going to grab my laminator and get that warmed up so we can laminate these covers. Like I said, this is just a Scotch laminator that I picked up at Target. I think it was under $30 at the time, so very affordable. And then these laminating sheets in the 5mm size I got from Hobby Lobby in a pack there, I think of maybe 30, 20 or 30. I'll have to re-look at that, but I've been using that same pouch of pockets since I got it, and I've done quite a few DIY projects in the last couple of years, so I thought it was a good buy. We're going to go ahead and set in the covers into the laminating pouches, and I just push them up to the far edge at the top, so I get it as close as I can there and then smooth things out. And then we'll jump ahead to when it's all heated up, and we'll go ahead and feed these through. I just make sure that it's on the 5mm setting for the thicker laminate, just to make sure that everything adheres. I almost ran these through twice, but then I decided not to, but it probably would have been a good idea because there is glitter, like a raised glitter on the back side on the cardstock I pulled. So it could have used a little bit more suction to, adhere to the backside a little bit more. It doesn't really become a problem, but I did notice it when I was trying to punch through the edge with the mushroom punch. You'll see that it definitely did not go as smoothly as it could because it was not as adhered to the page. So I went ahead and trimmed those down, and I'm going to go ahead and use my rounding punch to just soften the sharper edges there of the laminate. And I picked that up at Amazon, I think last year. A really good buy. And you have 4 different options, and it punched through the laminate very easily, so it was a nice option there. And just out of habit, I grabbed my Happy Planner punch like I was going to punch it with that, but Happy Planner punches do not go through thick materials very easily, so we're going to use my We Are Memory Keepers Power Disc Punch instead. That is a really great DIY tool for disc-bound planners. I really love this thing. And just a very handy tool if you plan on doing a lot of DIY stuff in your planner. It goes through a lot of thick materials, and although it's just one hole at a time, it really does a good job. So what I did earlier was I took a ruler and marked the center hole mark, and I used just a Sharpie to draw a faint line there that I could see as I put the cover through the hole punch, and then just lined it up and punched it. And by doing that, it basically punches out the pin mark, so you don't have to worry about erasing it or anything. I learned that you need to start with the center mark on these covers because there's not a real easy way to gauge where to start. So starting with the center mark tends to be the easiest and the most efficient way to make sure that the covers are nicely lined up. Also too, you can kind of see me fiddling around here with this punch. Like I said, the adherence of the pages to the laminate wasn't that good, and plus my punch really needs a good sharpening, so there's a lot of extra not punching completely out, so I just had to go through and trim it. So that's basically it for the cover. Next we will take care of the sticky dash. And for the sticky dash, I'm going to use Planything's Acetate from her Christmas release, along with another piece of cardstock from a Michael's Recollections pack I got last year. And I'll go ahead and punch it first. I had a little bit of trouble with punching through this plastic. My Happy Planner punch is super finicky and it really sticks with anything. I can sharpen it to death and it still is just very sticky. So I think it's a little bit defective, honestly. But I did finally get it punched through completely, thankfully. I didn't want to rip it, it's the only one I have. Then I went ahead and punched the backside of the cardstock. So that's all set, and I used a Planything Acetate for my fall planner refresh. I was excited to use her acetate again this time around. I'm going to go ahead and pull out all of my stickies that I keep in this little Happy Planner folder, and then also add in some clear photo corners to seal the pages together but not permanently, so that the front and the back are one but not a permanent bond. So I'm just going to go through my stickies, kind of look for things that I feel match the vibe here in the front. I'm going more towards the blues and the browns, surprisingly, more so than the red and the green, but I think it works just because it's a little bit more neutral here in the front with the inside cover, and then the brown and really pale green tone in the acetate. So we will just pull what seems to work and whatever I have that I can get to fit here on the sticky dash. I did start gluing down a few of them though, because they were not sticking as well as I'd hoped to the plastic. And then I also have this collection of watercolor. They're sticky notes, but they're also like flags stickies. You can separate each one of those out. So I think that'll be a nice addition here and add a little bit of green tone. Feels a little bit more holiday. So again, just kind of looking through, seeing what might work with what I have here on the sheet. I have so many random little sticky notes, and I need I mean, this is a pretty good way to store them because I have them all at least in one place, but it would be nice to maybe create a little sticky notebook. might be a project for a future time, and that way I could keep them all together in, you know, more of a permanent place, so they're not just somewhat floating around here in the ether. Like I said, I'm going to put a little bit of glue runner on the back of some of these just so that they don't pop off too easily from the plastic. And if you want to know where I got any of those, just go ahead and leave me a comment down below and I'll be happy to fill you in on any details. Okay, so next we're going to do some layered dashboards, and I have the printouts here ready to go. I basically just went on Freepick and found some images that I liked, and for the back I actually took a picture of this cardstock that I really love that I'll be using for the pocket folder, and just used that as the backside for each of these dashboards. And you'll see how that will all come into play in a minute, but the picture and some of these printouts, well, most of these printouts came out a little bit pink because I'm running low on toner, so some of the images could be printed a little bit better, but I didn't want to reprint them just because I didn't have the toner there to help fix it. But yeah, so the wood background looks a little pink and some of these images look a little bit pink. But otherwise, they printed out really nicely. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut them down. What I decided to do here was just cut them about 2 or 3 at a time to get it done a little bit faster. But when you cut more pages at a time, you just got to be aware that things will creep and shift in a little bit, so they won't have a perfect cut, or it's pretty hard to get a perfect cut when you do multiples. I'm okay with that. I'll be doing some trimming anyway, so we just are going to go ahead and punch them and see how they work here in the planner with the other part of this layered dashboard setup, which is the vellum. Now I realized that I only needed 4 out of the 5 dashboards, so I printed out the vellum that I felt matched well with the dashboards that I think I'm going to use. And then I was trying to figure out how best to do this so that the vellum is the right size for the dashboards, because sometimes, like I said, the sizing gets off a little bit when you cut multiples at a time. But I decided just to cut all the vellum at once and then do, again, more cleanup like I did with the cover, which you'll see. So for these vellums, 2 of them are designs that I actually created, including this one on the top here that says "Good Tidings of Comfort and Joy." That will be another freebie for this video, so do check the description if you like that. You could use it as just a regular printout or as a vellum overlay. Really cute little addition to your holiday vibe in your planner. So I have that. And I'm going to, like I said, trim these to fit so that there's not any overlap. And I'm matching them up as I go. And I'll go ahead and trim these down to size, using some magnetic bookmarks to help keep them in place. This vellum dashboard is actually printable from another blogger's page, which I will put down below in the description as well, so you guys can download it yourself as if you want this one. I just thought it was really nice and very classy looking, and I didn't really feel like building out all of the dashboards by myself, so I did look around and try to find some ideas from other places. I also created this reindeer name dashboard on my own. That one I'm not going to give away for free because I do plan on maybe potentially doing something with that in the future. That one I just created myself. Thought it was a really cute matchup for that printable. And then finally, this last one here is again another printable from a blog that I found, and I will try to find it and link it below. So I went ahead and punched through those dashboards, and we will put those into my planner now. So I have 4 main sections in my planner. and I use clear dividers for those sections. I have my task section, my goal section, my schedule section, and then at the very back I have my reference section. I'm just going to drop in the vellum now because we are going to make a little bit of decor on the back side in the next part of this video. Okay, so like I said, I had taken that picture of the wood slat image and put that on the back of all the dashboards. I want to jazz these up with a little bit of holiday decor, a little bit of fun. And I have all of these scrapbook page extras that I've kept from various stashes that I've done in the past with making Christmas cards and things like that. And thought it would be fun just to add those in this time around. Instead of printing out images, just use these items that I already have from purchased scrapbook pads and try to create something a little bit fun and decorative on the back of the dashboards. So I'm just going through the pages now and cutting out the things I think I might use, using some scissors. Thought about, pre-cutting all of these with my guillotine cutter, but, sometimes it's easier to do it by hand. So I went ahead and did that. Started to try to figure out what I'll put on what dashboards and what I'll be combining together. So a majority of these came from the Recollection sticker book that I mentioned before that I bought last year, but some of these are from older books. Most of them are from Michael's, like their standard Christmas pack that they were doing for forever. Most of these are not going to be available for me to link in. Just know that they came from the standard store Recollections brand scrapbook packs, cardstock packs that they have around the holidays. Usually they'll have a sheet or two of something like this where they're like smaller little images that you can combine to make, interesting cards or whatever. So that's what we're going to be using here as decor. I don't know, I feel like some of them could use a little bit more. Having a hard time mixing and matching a few of them because they have the same sayings on them, like Merry and Bright is repeated, Merry Christmas is repeated. So I didn't want to move too many things around and then, you end up having duplicates on the same page. I'm also trying to match up colors and things and balance out the imagery a little bit. So a couple of these came out good, like really good. Some of them could use a little something else, I think, or have a little bit better balance, but overall, they still are fun to look at. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to match up with which dashboards, and it does kind of matter because I will see them both together. So like this one with the pink, I really wanted to be matched up with something that was a little bit more cutesy, and then the more formal style dashboards like the one with the Holy Night overlay, I really thought that would be better with something a little bit more classic looking as far as decor. And I'm using my rounding punch to soften the edges of the square images. And I also have a really large snowflake punch that I use to punch out a few snowflakes from some of the cardstock that I have in my stash. And just to add a little bit of detail to it so it's not just all basic geometric shapes. And my glue runner, this new one that I just put in, is a little bit finicky, so I had to fix it a couple times, I think, here as we went. And just going to try to combine these in a nice way, figure out what might look cute and balance well. And I decided at the last minute to bring in some washi tape just to kind of feel like the spread was a little more complete, and then also to add a little bit of pattern to the design. So I started pulling some things in that I had. I actually pulled out some pink grid washi here too, again to match up and bring in a little bit more color. The red plaid and the green plaid washi you're going to see me use here, those are both from Hobby Lobby that I got last year, but I think that they're still selling it this year if you like that red and green washi tape. The pink grid is from Planything, and that's from an older release. Not sure if that's still available, but that's where it came from. And then I think I pull in a few other ones from various sources from a while back that I probably won't be able to recall where they came from. So I really like how this one turned out. I had this little truck that I actually cut out last year to use in my holiday planner, and then it ended up forgetting about it. So I saved it, and I think it's a perfect little addition here on this spread or this page. I'm going to layer in the red and the green washi again for a little bit of extra pattern and color. These last two are the ones that I really struggled with getting some good balance out of the items that I decided to put on the page. Thought maybe adding an item or two more might help, so we're going to try that. I don't know. Struggling here a bit with balance, but we'll see. We'll see what works. I feel like I'm going to need something in that corner if I leave it like this. Maybe some washi tape will help me feel a little bit better about this. I don't know. And then at the last second, I remembered that I had this black washi with this scalloped edge and thought that that might bring a little bit of something to the spread that would help. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that in on the top and the bottom. It's kind of an edging look. Still feel like it needs something in that corner though, so let's figure that out. I'm going to try a few things. And I totally lost some footage there. My card actually ended up being full, so sorry that you didn't get to see the end of that, but basically fussy cut the house and the tree, so you'll see that later. And then moved on to the second one, which I cut out this little heart, punched another snowflake, and I'm adding in some more washi here as well. This black washi came in a set from the Hobby Lobby a long time ago. I'm not sure if that's going to be still available, but I wanted to add in a little more black, I thought, to this layout, just so it looked a little bit better tied together. The green of the snowflake isn't really all that great in my opinion, but I did not want to redo it, so I just left it. It does add a little bit of color, so. And you'll see the finished result here in a minute as I pop them all in, and then I'll also do a flip through at the very end so you can see them all together. And we have one more project to complete for this holiday refresh, which is a pocket folder. Okay, so for this pocket folder, I'm actually going to use some cardstock from Planything as well. It's double-sided, and I really like the styles of the patterns. The watercolor images are really cute, but they just don't quite go with the vibe I've got going in my planner. So I'm going to use just the pattern pages. And I decided to use these as the backers so that I could thicken up the rigidness of the pocket folder. And then also they were already pre-cut, so I knew that I wouldn't have to really go back and kind of fine-tune the cutting since they were cut by machine, so I knew that they would be a perfect match as far as size. So I made the actual pocket out of a 12 by 12 cardstock sheet that had just the pattern of a wooden slat. I use the same pattern for my fall refresh pocket folder as well. And so this is just the other half of that page. So that's why it's already pre-cut. And I'm going to go ahead and score the bottom edge there of the triangle to fold in. And I'm just using my slice precision cutter to do that, just pushing about medium weight as far as I push in. So not to cut the paper, but to score it more so, and am folding that in. I also cut out a small triangle from the center so that it doesn't get bunched up there when I close the fold. So next we're going to go ahead and run some glue runner along the edge, and then basically line the page up right to the edge, the straight edge there, and then do the opposite side as well. That creates a little bit of that pocket, so when you put pages or stickers or whatever in there, it doesn't fall out the bottom. It just kind of catches it there in that little fold and helps things, stay in place. Then I'm just going to trim off the excess to the straight edge, and then find again the center point and mark it, and do basically the same thing that I did with the cover. And you can see my fall version of that I just showed you guys. I was going to try to line it up using that folder, but I decided to do the center mark to just be extra sure. Let's go ahead and finish the punching using that disc punch, power punch. And that's basically it, easy peasy. Just drop in the items that I'm going to be keeping in there for now. Drop it in, and Bob's your uncle. Alright you guys, so let's do the full flip through. Okay, so here is the full flip through of my holiday refresh. Got this lovely cover here with the cardstock backer, along with my sticky dash, which is kind of protected there with my pencil pouch, on the Planything Acetate. So that's ready to go, along with some cardstock as a backer for that, connected with some clear photo corners. Then we get into my first section, which is my task section, and I have this pretty vellum overlay on top of this dashboard that I got off the internet in some free stock photography places, which I'll link some below, along with the decor that I made for the backside. The next section is my goal section, and I have my reindeer name overlay with this cute hot cocoa image, and the decor I have for the back as well. Next we have the schedule section with this Holy Night lyrics dashboard and the image that I selected for that, along with some decor here in the back. And that's how it turned out. Not my favorite, but that one, was the one I struggled with the most as far as the layout of the decor items. And finally, we have the dashboard that I'm giving away for free, the Good Tidings dashboard, and this image that I paired with it, again, from either Pixabay or Free Pick, can't remember, and then this decor for the backside. And then we're going to get into the cover, and that will be it, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye!